kidding.
Okay.
So I'm guessing most of us were present for the previous presidential elections, and Obama's slogan was "Change we can believe in." So, you know, I think this quote kind of ties into that. If you request music, you must be willing to pay for the fiddler. And that was said by a man named Charlie Chan. And, like, I think basically this quote is describing, like, people's work ethic in, like, overall today and how much we actually demand as a society and people in general. So I'm going to talk about three areas this quote could apply to. So maybe work and the government and schooling. So first of all, like, when it ties into your work, when people go to work, you know, you expect to get paid and you expect to make a living off what you do. And the quote, if you request music, you must be willing to pay for the fiddler, kind of means if you're expecting money, you actually have to put in the work to earn that money. And a lot of people go into their daily grind kind of half-assing things and just expecting to get paid and doing what the next guy's doing. But, like, that's really not going to cut it in the end to succeed and keep moving up. So I think that the quote is relevant because, you know, we all kind of just drag into work thinking, oh, it's another day at work, and, you know, we don't really take into account how lucky we all are if we have jobs, and if you don't have a job, you know, I'm sorry. Here, actually. But, no, I mean, we don't really take into account how hard we don't work as to other people who you're taking their position who would work harder. The second thing is government. You know, people expect the government to take care of us. They expect us to watch over us. They expect us, we expect them to like do our water, our electricity. We expect all these things. And the reason I brought up Obama in the beginning was because it's change we can believe in, but change doesn't come without our change, you know, from our pockets. And that's because, you know, if we want change, we actually got to dedicate time and money to having that. So, you know, people are kind of upset, like, when we don't have universal health care, but, you know, that's going to be a lot more dollars out of our pocket. You know, you can't request music if you're not going to pay for the fiddler. So, I mean, if you're willing to look over everybody, everyone has to be willing to give some, which I don't think is truly present in today's society in our country. And the third thing is school. We all come here to class. Some of us try harder than others. But, you know, so, I mean, some of us do the homework. Some of us give 100% in all of our speeches, practice weeks ahead. The others, like myself, will write the speech before class. It's a way to get things done. And, you know, if you expect great grades, you probably have to put in great effort. You have to spend the hours behind the book, and you have to spend the hours writing the papers and actually studying. So I think that if you want the good grades, you actually can't go into the class expecting to sit there, you know, and just because you're in class, earn the A. You actually have to put the effort behind it. So, I mean, I covered how this irrelevant quote covered relevant topics in our society today, and I hope I could shed some light on all these topics for you.
Brilliant.
No, I read it. That was super good.
Thank you.
That was legit. We'll eat some now. You everything after.
They're not mentioning
Andrew, you're a sweetie.
I know. You know what?
And you're being polite. And last time
he just wants that.
and he's like, I was just never seen it. And I was just asking.
That's not being lazy.
So you took the time to get it.
Is it too late for me if I want to do an impromptu?
No.
I thought this was for the the prepared speech. I was doing the prepared.
All right, you know what? Hang on a second, because all of this is going on his YouTube video. So if you can talk to me between, it would help.
I like running this one past. Don't worry about it.
Why is he in the budget? Like, why is the door open?
I'm always in such a rush
All right, Eric. Let me get through this quickly. The introduction, you made a reference to the Obama campaign slogan. It never came up until later in the speech, so it was a little confusing there at the beginning. You had a nice interpretation of what the quote was. You set up the contents in a pretty simple, straightforward way, but you did at least do that. On the content, I thought you got a little bit muddled and lost on the first point, but you were clear on the second and third point. Presentation issues, your voice projects pretty well. You sound fairly animated. I actually thought there were a couple of nice places where you injected a pause for effect to make a point that you were kind of being self-depreciating in the situation there. There are a few indicators. A couple of things are a little repetitive. You do have a tendency to kind of hold your hands in front of you a little bit more than you want, so maybe be a little bit more animated than that. Very good distribution of your eye contact. There were some indicators also with your body movement. I like that. There was no obvious sign of anxiety except for the stuff that happened before you got started where you were bitching about the quotes. At the conclusion of the speech, you did have a clear exit line, but not much of a summary. All right, thank you.